I don't know what your relationship is to Bruno Mars, but I like Bruno Mars. I think Bruno Mars is a great musician. I think he's a great performer. I think his stage presence is absolutely incredible. And he's back with a brand new album. I think he's also one of our great homagists. He tends to reference different time periods, right? He goes back to the 60s and 70s and 80s a lot. And for this new album, I was curious to sort of listen to what hardcore Bruno Mars fans think of this record. So Romeo Candido and Pablo The Don are here, and they talk a lot about the thing that we want out of Bruno Mars. I got a lot out of this conversation. I hope that you do too. And also, if you do listen to Bruno Mars, let us know what you think about this new record in the comments as well. Let's go.
I would run through a fire just to be by your side. If your heart's on the line, you could take mine. It's crazy, but it's true. There's nothing I won't
Welcome, both of you. How's it going?
Great.
Nice to have you here. Romeo, I'm going to come to you first, pal. What do you like about this new Bruno Mars record?
It gives Bruno Mars. It's like a rum cake. You know what I mean? Like, you know what it's gonna taste like. It's rich. You get what you pay for.
Right. You're like, I go to Bruno Mars for a specific thing, and it has given me that thing.
I want it to sound like, you know, I'm at a Filipino community center doing line dancing. Like that's what that whole album is giving.
That's beautiful. Pablo, what about you? What do you like about this new record?
I like that Bruno Mars is back and he's back solo. I love that he's giving us solo music for the first time in 10 years. I love that he's still making music. I love that he's still as funny and like off the cuff as ever. I love that he's touring again. I thought he was locked in Vegas himself for a while there. So I'm glad he's touring America again. I know he's done international. I just in general think he's such a huge part of pop culture and music and contemporary music right now that seeing him back doing his thing is always going to be a pleasure.
I have a lot of questions about the ways that both of you see Bruno, because I see him, I think, a little bit differently. But Romeo, let me go to you. So The Romantic is the fourth solo album from Bruno Mars. He's been a household name for a decade, more than a decade at this point. You're a musician yourself. So tell me, when you think about Bruno Mars, what do you think it is about Bruno that over the years maybe separates him from the other artists of his generation?
Well, he's not ever chasing trends. You know, he's reaching back way far in the past, but he's never chasing trends. I like a verse, chorus, bridge, key change. I like a high tenor. I like a multi-instrumentalist. I like a person who could dance. Like, we do not have showmen anymore. We have people who rap on tracks. We have people who sing auto-tuned, and we have with Bruno, he has a real voice from God, and he has real musicianship.
Can I push you a little bit on this? Because I love Bruno Mars as a musician. I think like his first couple albums genuinely deliver something beautiful. And then it feels like there's been a track of his career where he's kind of become an homagist. More than anything else, is someone who's kind of like is doing the thing where he's reaching far into the past. And I'm not so sure whether he's creating something entirely new when he reaches into the past, or if he's trying to say, I want to do that. The thing that's in the past that exists, I want to do that. And then he kind of like seems to recreate it in the present. What is it? What is the thing that you get out of Bruno sort of reaching into the past?
Well, it's a vibration. Remember, like we always talk, the Motown days, or all the, stylistics, or all, Isaac Hayes, we love the music from the past. And now there's just so much music that it's going to be hard for the next generations to find everything. Yeah. And so what I like that his kind of homage becomes a bit of an entrance point to finding some of the older tunes.
I remember I think there was a period of time, maybe 15 years ago, when all these videos would go viral of Bruno doing his Michael Jackson impression. Yeah. And it was such a spot on impression that when you sort of see that happen, you kind of go, oh, I can immediately tell that this is going to be someone else's entry point to Michael. It's seeing Bruno do this and go, I should look up, the source material. Is that kind of what you're talking about there? Yeah.
And a quick, he's half Filipino. And Filipinos are the king at karaoke. We own some, if we own anything, it's karaoke. And so it's almost like he's singing karaoke to original music. And so, there's a familiarity, there's a comfort. And I think that's why why I don't think he'll ever fade. Frankly.
Yeah, I think familiarity and comfort is exactly what people sort of get out of Bruno Mars. Okay, let's hear some more new cuts from this new Bruno Mars record, The Romantic.
Come on and shine with me.
So right there, Bruno Mars with Cha Cha Cha, and then On My Soul, and then Off, and then the last song there is Something Serious. Pablo, we just talked a little bit of that nostalgia thing, right? It's been a sort of a big part of the Bruno sound for years, but then he's also seems to be doubling down on the retro sort of 60s, 70s soul style. Is it still working for you, Pablo?
I think when it comes to Bruno, the thing is he's never going to make bad music. So you have to like almost evaluate him in his own box, kind of like how you have to do Beyonce. Beyonce will never objectively make bad music. And I think with Bruno, with this album in particular, it's good. It's listenable. It's replayable, repeatable. But it's almost like, what else do we have, Bruno? Do we have more? Is there anything else you want to push forward? I think the beginning of his career was so interesting because he was a chameleon when it came to music. He would go from the doo-wops to, he did more rock on Unorthodox Jukebox, and then we get to 24 Karat Magic, and it's a full, like, tribute to like black music throughout the decades. And then we get Silk Sonic, which is pure 70s, him and Anderson .Paak really emphasizing live instrumentation and then taking it like cheeky and funny and poking fun of some of the things that were said in those 70s music. When we get here, it's like, it's good, but Bruno, where else can we go? Do you want to go anywhere else? And it's one of those things where because you can't say it's bad music, it almost feels bad to critique him about it. But it's just me wondering, because you are such a creative force, what else do you have? Is there anything else you want to explore? Because you could be a needle mover and an entry point into so many other genres for people, like Romeo said.
Okay, I want to hold on that for just a moment because I actually think that's an important distinction to make. You'd be hard-pressed to find anybody who would say that Bruno Mars is not a great singer, that he's not a great performer, that the stage presence is absolutely incredible. He's an absolutely brilliant musician. And then you kind of get to the point of saying, okay, if he is so focused on the nostalgia thing, is it reasonable for audiences, for people outside of the sort of Bruno Mars fandom to say, you know what, I actually kind of want him to step outside of this nostalgia thing that he's doing? Or is that too much to ask, do you think, Pablo? Or is it actually like fair at this point to say, please also do that?
I don't think it's unreasonable, but it's like, what other nostalgia things pique your interest? Like, again, you started off as like, the first thing I was introduced to Bruno is his Elvis impersonations as like a 3-year-old, and they're so good. It's like, do you have like a rock thing you want to explore? Can you do arena rock? I always think like this album is so much about yearning, and it is placed in the 70s and 80s, but a big thing a lot of people have wanted is like the nostalgias of the 90s. Like, do you have a Cisco thong song in your catalog that you can redo? Do you have like
I have one in the talk. I have a Cisco thong song in the talk.
Do you have like a Tyrese crying over the track draped in like 90s 808s? Do you go work with Dark Child? Like that sort of thing. Does Bruno have that nostalgia to bring us? Because I think people are also missing that era as well. And it's like Bruno could do it. Like he could kill it. And like really like show people this is the 90s yearning that like Usher was doing on Make You Wanna. Like he could do it and kill it.
What I like about this is like neither of you seem to mind that Bruno Mars is someone who gets into a time machine and goes into an era and says, I've brought you some things that we should mind from this time period, and like, you know, maybe create some new sounds and push them forward that way. What is it about Bruno Mars that makes you go like, yeah, actually I don't mind you continue to do this nostalgia thing that I don't think we have to other pop artists? I think like there's very few, I think we usually demand novelty and reinvention from pop artists. People don't seem to demand it the same way from Bruno Mars.
Because he's good at what he does. He's good at being a showman. He's good at dancing. He's good at charming the crowd.
Yeah.
He's good at singing. He's good at it's like when Michael Jordan started playing baseball. You don't want to see Michael Jordan do the thing that he's not the best at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bruno Mars is
basketball.
the best at being a singer, dancer, entertainer. So all of the music that he's making, it's like, yeah, do I forget it? Yeah. You know, am I going to hear it at a wedding? Yeah. But like it gives him the platform to do what he does the best in the world, which is his thing, is singing, dancing, romancing, charming the crowd.
Romeo, Pablo outlined that they'd really like to see Bruno get Dark Child back in the kitchen. Where do you want to see Bruno Mars go?
The thing is, again, not to harp on him being half Filipino, because he doesn't harp on it enough. There's a kind of music called OPM, Original Pinoy Music, Original Filipino Music. And there's a sound called the Manila sound that got really popular in the 70s and 80s. Just give us one Tagalog song, Bruno. You know, like people, it would live
The begging in your voice is beautiful.
It's the yearning, you know what I mean? Like I could do an album of yearning for Bruno to sing a Tagalog song, because I think... just rep your culture, man.
Yeah.
Like,
what do you think that would do if he did?
people would lose it. Like how Bad Bunny has been repping part of our, like, you know what I mean? Like, and sometimes this is kind of the criticism of Drake, of him not kind of repping the culture when he needs to, or at moments. Like Bruno has never repped the culture.
Yeah.
Does he make music for Filipina titas to dance at Seafood City too? Yes. So he's serving the people.
Yes.
But there's never. He might not be able to step in and say, I speak for the Filipinos, because he's never done it. But one Tagalog song can turn that all around.
I was going to say, also, for someone who is such a chameleon, who's sort of so interested in exploring lots of different musical spaces, you know, you get the K-pop collaboration at the same time as you get the Die With a Smile, the Lady Gaga collaboration. He's clearly comfortable sort of, you know, in a bunch of different languages, and it would be kind of fun to see him just kind of explore kind of limitlessly.
Rosalia's doing 13 in an album.
Right.
Like Bruno could like throw in a...
That's a hard bar to measure up to. The
could do
Rosalia
it.
bar. Pablo, what were you going to say just now?
I would love for him to do that. I'm like, where's the Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell? Where's the Angela and Renee? Where's the Rick James and Tina Marie? Like, he could do this so fabulously with an R&B girly of today. He could do it with Beyonce. I wouldn't care. Like, do the things, Bruno. Go further into the nostalgia. I love it, but go further. Give us something new. And I feel like this album, again, great, but it's still kind of, if Silk Sonic hadn't happened, I think I would love this one more.
Well, I was going to say that it is a little bit telling to me that I asked you guys about this album, and then the conversation would be like, here's what more we want from Bruno. So I guess like maybe let's close the conversation here. The Romantic is his 5th album overall. Pablo, where do you think it ranks among his albums?
I think it's 4th or 5th. I think Magnum Opus will always be Silk Sonic, just because that was so incredibly good.
Unbelievable.
I think Unbelievable. Magic is right there. And then I think Unorthodox Jukebox at the time, just diving into Treasure, doing Locked Out of Heaven, kind of going into that rock territory was amazing. It's Doo-Wops and Hooligan and the Romantic that's battling for me between that 4th and 5th spot. And I think Doo-Wops and Hooligan was just, we were being introduced to him. I love the James Brown tributes on those albums.
Yes.
But I'm just, you know, it's that and this one slide back and forth for me. Again, though, all great music.
You mentioned you've seen Bruno 4 or 5 times at this point.
Yeah.
What is he like as a performer live?
The best. This is the only man I'm willing to allow to take my phone away, which is what he does. He makes you lock it up, put it away. You can't access it. I am okay with that. I'm obsessed with him. He's so captivating. I never thought a 5'3" man would captivate me in the way that he does, considering I'm 6'1". But that man has a special power. He's really like 7 foot. I'm telling y'all. Like when he's on that stage, that's Wembanyama up there.
Wembanyama.
That's what people often say about Bruno Mars, I think. Romeo, last word to you. Where do you think this record falls in his discography?
I don't know. I think it just becomes part of the canon. I just feel
like you don't rank them. You're like, Bruno's a vibe
I don't
you step
believe
into.
in hierarchical rankings of art and expression. I
don't think that's true, Romeo.
I fully do, but it's. I don't know, like because you know how albums hit you at different times.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not an 80-year-old person.
You're not simping.
Yeah. Like it's good.
Yeah. But this is not necessarily like among your most revisited Bruno Mars albums.
I only listened to it a lot because I was coming on today. But like if it was a normal day, it's like one and done.
Okay, that's fair. Well, I appreciate both of you being here. Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for talking Bruno. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Pablo The Don is a culture critic and part of Those Wrestling Girls podcast. They were in Springfield, Massachusetts. Romeo Candido is a musician and TV showrunner based in Toronto. That new album from Bruno Mars is called The Romantic. It's out everywhere now.